We'll start with welcome and introductions, and we'll do that as our way of establishing quorum. So we'll just start here and go around the room.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Kurth. I am a pharmacist at SWASU and I represent the PAR board.
Melinda Front, Executive Director of Department of Rehab Services.
Jacqueline Aaron, the Executive Director for CASA, Western Oklahoma.
Jeffrey Cartmel, Director of Oklahoma Human Services.
Timothy Michael Johnson, I represent the Oklahoma Bar Association.
I'm Ellen Bittner, Director of the Healthcare Authority.
Brian Larison, I'm the CEO of Meadows of Hope. It's a foster care agency. I represent Oklahoma Children's Agencies and Residential Enterprises.
That's impressive.
Oklahoma Care.
That's good. Timothy Tardy-Bona, Director of Office of Juvenile Affairs.
Mike Warren, and I chair the JJOAC committee.
Jason Hicks, representative from the District Attorney's Council.
John Schneider, Youth and Family Services, here representing the Oklahoma Association of Youth Services. Perfect. All right. Thank you all for being here. We've also got Assistant Attorney General Mounty here helping us today. Thank you so much for being here. Any other guests I need to recognize today? Okay. We'll move on to agenda item number 2, public comment. Do we have anybody sign up for public comment today? Okay, no public comment. We'll move on to agenda item number 3, introduction.
I'm back. I don't think Michael's here yet.
Okay, we'll circle back around. Perfect. Agenda item number 4, discussion and possible vote regarding the minutes from the April 11th, 2025 commission meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please call roll.
Commissioner Aaron? Yes. CEO Bittner? Yes. Director Cartmel?
Yes.
Director Front?
Yes.
District Attorney Hicks?
Yes.
Commissioner Kurth?
Abstain.
Commissioner Larison?
Yes.
Commissioner Michael Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider?
Yes.
Commissioner Tardy-Bona?
Yes.
Judge Warren?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Next is agenda item number 5. One of my favorites every meeting. It's a presentation from the OCCY Parent Partnership Board. And we will welcome up Alice Jeffrey. Thank you for being here today and for sharing with us.
Good morning, commissioners and CEOs and judges, and I didn't know that it was going to be such a mixed group. My name is Alice Jeffrey, and I'm a new member of the Parent Partnership Board that is conducted by OCCY. I know that all of you have been provided with a report on what your Parent Partnership Board has been up to. I would encourage you to read over that report and familiarize yourself with all of the different things that the board members have been up to since the beginning of the year. I'd like to take this opportunity to share some of my personal experiences and having heard what a lot of you guys do, a lot of the things that you guys are in charge of have touched my life personally. And I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak to you and to say a personal thank you for how those things have improved my life and the life of my daughter. In 2022, I gave birth to my daughter, Harmony. However, I was unhoused, I was uninsured, and I had just recently moved into recovery, and I had no prenatal care whatsoever. And although she was born clean, and I was clean at the time of her birth, she was still removed from me and placed into foster care. I was given an amazing foster family, but they were still strangers. And I was a good candidate for family treatment court, which is a special treatment court. It's like drug court for family court. And that really helps me out. I was able to use Hope for the Future for my supervised visitations. They have a setup that's more like a living room, and the way they supervise is through like baby cams rather than like somebody sitting in there with you. I received my rehab outpatient treatment through Catalyst, and Homeless Alliance helped me get my ID and my birth certificate and my social security card, because a lot of these families that are coming into these places, like, you're forcing them to change their lives and you don't know like exactly what state they're at. Sometimes I used to say like I wasn't even a real person in the eyes of the government because I didn't have any documentation of who I was. And I finally received housing through Hope Community Services. That was the last thing that I got in place before I was able to have unsupervised visitation with my daughter. And it took from her birth in May all the way to October to finally get into housing, but that was the last thing that I needed. And Hope Community Services, that would be the center of my wheel of supports, because I still use them today. But all those other things, those are just spokes in the wheel that help me move forward. And I think that's the difference between like the gift, like Homeless Alliance was a gift. They helped me that one time, and then that was all that I needed from them. Hope for the Future, like that was something I needed for a small period of time, but Hope I need for a long period of time. I need them to walk with me so that I can finally do this on my own. And I understand that cuts are necessary, but we have to be mindful of the real cost, because some of us are very reliant on these things moving forward before we can do this on our own. And I've been using Hope for almost 3 years now for my housing. I still need them. And when we do cuts, some of these setbacks that we can cause families can build mistrust between ourselves and the families that we are trying to help. And that's the last thing that we want to do. I want to take a moment to sincerely thank Director Jeffrey Cartmel for utilizing the Parent Partnership Board the way that you have, for coming in and helping us feel heard. And I would encourage all of you to lean on your Parent Partnership Board. We are here as your parent voice. We are more than willing to give you any kind of perspective that you might need from parents. And thank you so much for letting me share.
So much for coming and sharing your story. You know, I'm a firm believer that small steps over time equal big change. And it's
Absolutely.
obvious, you just keep doing that, and now you're here sharing and helping others, serving on Parent Partnership Board. So thank you for your service as you keep moving forward.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we will circle back around to, is that okay? Okay, we'll circle back to agenda item number 3, introduction of the new Oklahoma Human Services Child Welfare Director.
So as many of you know, the last probably 7 or 8 months, we've spent a lot of time trying to find Oklahoma's next child welfare director. As I've talked about in this meeting and other places, I believe it's probably one of the most important positions, if not the most important position for the next, for the future of our state. There's really no other way around it. It was a long road to find Michael, and I say find Michael, Michael found us. He applied really kind of cold turkey online, this application that came across. Why in the world would this guy want to come to Oklahoma?
Still wondering.
But within about 30 seconds of Katie Demuthi, my chief of staff, talked to him, and she basically ran in my office like, you need to call Michael like now, talk to him. And so that began a couple month process of meetings. Then he came out, and I'll let him introduce himself, but I couldn't be more excited about what the future of child welfare, family well-being, all of that looks like in Oklahoma, Michael's background and expertise. In Connecticut, where he comes from, where he's most recently been, they're over not just child welfare, but juvenile justice and children's behavioral health as well. So he has seen the systems work really well together. And so now as we continue to push kind of cross-agency collaboration, I'm just really excited to see what he will do. I have slept really good every night this week knowing that. And on Monday afternoon, we were meeting and just kind of going over his initial take, and I was kind of sitting there and I was like, I may get a phone call in a week and like, this guy may just take my job. I mean, he's like, I was like, why don't you just switch me spots? He's phenomenal. I'll let him introduce himself. Keep in mind, he's day 5 on the job, 4.5 on the job, so doesn't know everything yet, but he brings nearly 3 decades of really, really high level, high quality experience to this role. And we couldn't be more excited to have Michael. So Michael, if you want to introduce yourself and.
Thank you, thank you, and good morning to you all. Hopefully sitting is okay.
Sure.
All right. And I am truly grateful to Director Cardinal for this opportunity to come to Oklahoma and to join what I consider to be the good work that's happening here. Why am I here? You know, I've had the experience of seeing child welfare from many different lenses. One being obviously a state like Connecticut that is known to be well-resourced, you know, and seeing what can happen when it's a well-resourced system. A second is from a state like Florida, where it's privatized, to try to see whether or not things are better in the private sector than the public sector. And then looking at it from, you know, the level of national lenses of who's doing what well and stealing from some people and having folks steal from us, and we having those kind of exchanges in many different states and serving with many different leaders across the country. And in doing that, you know, Oklahoma has been one of those states that people quietly say, you should pay attention to this state. It does some really, really, really good stuff, right? And I had the privilege of serving on a couple of national initiatives with Connecticut and Oklahoma. It seems like we were paired all the time, like this Ending the Need for Group Placement initiative that the Annie Casey put together. And Connecticut and Oklahoma rose to the top as 2 states that were really committed and passionate and actually doing this for the right reasons, right? Doing it with partners and with group care providers so that it's not an antagonistic approach, but it's a child-centered approach. And then came the initiative called Soul Family, giving older youth who hadn't gotten permanency an opportunity to view permanency, you know, kind of differently, you know? And so again, Connecticut and Oklahoma back in it. And so I started talking with folks there. I started seeing what people, particularly the national foundations and think tanks were talking about when they were saying, there's something going on in Oklahoma. You guys got some good stuff here. And sure enough, one weekend, I see exactly what they're saying. There's a lot of good systems and processes and values and commitments that drives what's happening here in the state of Oklahoma. And I say, so what can I bring? You know, I've operated as, you know, a turnaround specialist for some initiatives for some states and things like that. But my strength is taking states from like good to great, great to excellent, building on what's there and saying, how can we move a system forward? And I do that with a deep commitment to children. So you don't have to worry about your child. It's not going to stay, stay in child welfare. I wouldn't want it. Stay with a deep commitment to child welfare, and it's from a philosophical view that, you know, children often in children's services often get the short end of the stick when we talk about the overall human services system, because so many states choose to put them within lifespan services, right? Like mental health or corrections and developmental disabilities, to where, you know, those agencies that have the responsibility for 18 and to the grave spend a lot of time with adults. Then when you ask them, what are you doing for children? It's like that little, you know, and I think that's the wrong way to go. I think if we find a way to consolidate our efforts around children and their well-being, and a system of well-being around children, and children's mental health, and juvenile justice, and developmental disability, and we integrate that all together in a child welfare approach or well-being approach, then the need for those other systems at the adult level will shrink, because children will do much better when they become adults. That's been my commitment and passion to that. And so everything about me is figuring out how to better integrate all of those systems while staying focused on the primary mission in child welfare, which is child protection and safety. You know, because if we can't keep children safe, you know, if our system continue to fall down on children being safe at home or safe with relatives or safe in congregate or other families, then nobody wants to hear anything else. You know, first and foremost, we owe it to society to be the agency where children stay safe. And that's our primary mission. And, you know, and from that comes everything else. And so when I start talking like that, I get a lot of amens here. And I got a lot of people who's like, yeah, we're on the same page. And I like to be in places where people are there. And now to see if I can do it in the South, you know, and show people that resources and partisan politics are not the key ingredient necessarily to child welfare. But the key ingredient is great leadership, commitment, and an organized approach around children. That's what I want to do.
Fantastic.
Appreciate you, invite you in a conversation if that's needed.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here and introducing yourself. Are there any questions right now?
Where are you, I know you've got to leave here in a minute. Where are you headed the rest of the day?
Yeah, so one of my loves in this work is to see our youth in care, particularly older youth, during their summit, and to hear, you know, they have a lot to tell us about our system. If we listen to those who are in it, and those who recently left, you know, the alumni of foster care, kids who've aged out, you know, they have that experience, and I call it expertise, that we need to continue to integrate into evolving our practice, because they'll tell us why they run away every day and we can't find placements for them. They'll tell us why we're struggling with having them sleep in offices rather than go to other places. And they will tell us, you know, why their academic achievement is not as great as we want it to be, and what is happening in school systems or the challenges that they're facing in the communities that they live in to stay out of delinquency situations. They have the answers, you know. Unfortunately, we give them token ears rather than active listening and integrating what they're telling us into our system and changing it so that it is truly kind of parent and child driven, child-led system. So that's where I'm going to spend time today, listening a lot to them and getting a chance to meet.
That's awesome. I think you'll find, I know far beyond this room, people in Oklahoma from private sector and public sector are very eager to collaborate and partner with the state and with DHS and with all state agencies for the betterment of the system. I think all of us that are in this room that are serving because we want to do the very best we can for our children. So moving forward, I think you'll find all the people at this table will want to collaborate in any way for the betterment of kids. And we appreciate you accepting the role and serving. It's a big job. And I appreciate you choosing to serve in this way. Any other questions or comments?
I was just gonna say, having represented children for 8 years in the child welfare system, I absolutely appreciate your commentary with regard to understanding lived experiences, expertise, and willingness to listen to them, especially after they've transitioned out, and how we can improve the system.
Well, thanks for joining us. Feel free to slip out whenever to do the good work. Okay, we will move on to, gosh, we got to follow that up with financial reports. I'm sorry. We will move on to agenda item number 6, discussion and possible vote regarding the finance report. I'll turn it over to Mahbub Haq.
Thank you, and good morning, respected commissioners and colleagues. Thank you very much for joining us today as we review the OCCY's financial report for the fiscal year 2025, covering activities till May 31st. I am Mahbub Haq. It's not working. So I am Mehboob, business manager for the OCCY, and I am honored to guide you through the financial report for the 11 months of the state fiscal year 2025. Let's take a closer look. This is the budget overview of our total financial year. Our total annual budget for the fiscal year stands at 6.1 million, 6.152. As of 31st May 2025, we have expended 4.968 million. That was the utilization till May 31st. And this makes 81% of the utilization of total annual budget. And if we see a year-to-date spending, it becomes 88% of the utilization. Our spending reflects careful planning and aligned execution. And here are some more details with the category-wise expenditures. This slide provides an account level breakdown, and here we stand in terms of annual utilization. There are five account categories. Personal services, we spend 77%. Travel expenses, we spend 71% up till now. Administrative is at 88%. And rest, the major utilization under the grant assistance is 92%. So this shows administrative and program expenses are on right way. This is our expense breakdown overall. Almost approximately 70% of our expense goes to our personal services. That includes both salaries, payroll, and professional services. 2% goes to travel, administrative of 5%, and journal assistance, other programs, that is 24%. This is our expense distribution. Budget utilization with more details. Total is again 81%. Just have a look. If you have a question or something coming to mind, I might explain in more details. But these are the sub-account details of our expense category. Just another view of the same information. And if we look at by departments, how that within OCCY, different departments are utilizing. Administration is department administration 79%, OJS so 84% utilized, planning and coordination 81% utilized. MDTs we utilize 96%. That includes the disbursement to the teams, CDRB 84%. So departmental trends align with the programmatic priorities, especially disbursement to the MDTs, are fully executed up till now. This is our cumulative spending trend up till now, month-wise. Details, we have spent 4.968 billion till now. That spending was highest in December, January, and Feb, and this was due to the disbursement to the MDTs during that period. Otherwise, March through May and before that, our spending trend was steady, operational, and smoothly going on. This consistency of our monthly trend speaks a financial rhythm to our activities. Here we are for the financial health, cash balance. Our cash balance, total available cash is 837,232.12 in our account. And out of that, appropriation for the financial year is to 135, revolving fund 200, account code 300, the amount, the balance is 341,658. We have left over for the CAMCA fund by 127,000. And this basically pertains to the last financial year. And this need to be returned. We are still receiving unspent funds from the teams. As soon as we receive all the amount, this will be returned to DHS. So the overall our balances are we are equipped with the balance to handle our financial year 25 close out and set up next financial year's transition. Overall, the detailed financial reports that our system generated was included in the packet for your review and perusal. Here's just key financial highlights or activities that have been in the finance side in OCCY for the last 2 months. Under budget, we have finalized the budget estimates for the next financial year. You will see in next agenda item. We are continuing review of the encumbered fund for the current financial year and coordinating with the program managers to optimize current year's usage or all disbursements, asset inventory reported to OMIS, and compliance review for the PCAR transactions completed for this month or last month. We are finalizing the POs in place for the next financial year and are working with the OMIS for processing almost all the needed operational level POs has been finalized, and as soon as the contracts with the vendors or upcoming suppliers has finalized or partners finalized, we will do the remaining POs for the next year. Supported the team for the financial site reviews, contract reviews, and project budgeting. That was the rest of this routine activities and operational support to the OCCY and team. So at the end, it would be, I would like to update OCCY's financial performance to May 2024 demonstrated good financial discipline up till now. And thank you very much for your continued support and commitment. I am happy to address any question to provide additional details, or if you need any further discussion, I am here.
Thank you. Do we have any questions?
Got one, on that chart where you had the month by month expenditures, you had a big spike in January.
Yes.
What was the cause
It
of?
was like in January, December, January, Feb. 3 months were high in disbursement because at that time we dispersed fund to the multiple disciplinary teams.
Oh.
So this is the major chunk that goes, this is pass-through money that goes to the team.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions? Your motion?
So moved.
First and
Clarify what the motion's for, please.
Mitch, could you clarify the motion?
Move to approve the financial report.
Perfect. Would you second the amended motion? Perfect. Have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please call roll.
Commissioner Aaron,
Yes.
CEO Bittner,
Yes.
Director Cartmel.
Yes.
Director Front,
Yes.
District Attorney Hicks.
Yes.
Commissioner Kurth,
Yes.
Commissioner Larison,
Yes.
Commissioner Michaels Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider,
Yes.
Commissioner Tardy Bono,
Yes.
Judge Warren,
Yes.
Thank you. Next is agenda item number 7, discussion and possible vote regarding the state fiscal year 2026 budget. And I'll turn it over to Director Jacobi.
Good morning, and thank you. I don't typically come up here, but for the first time in a while, we're gonna have some changes on our budget, and we're going to implement some measures that are a little more restrictive. So we're gonna have less money, basically, and we had to make some decisions. So I thought it might just be easier this morning if I am up here so I can answer the questions on how we arrived at those decisions. So before we start, I want to say thank you to Mahbub and to Mark James, because they've only done this slide and all the back work to it like 10 times. And I also want to thank anyone on the finance committee, because every time we talked to one of you and showed you this presentation, you gave us something to think about and we made changes. So I appreciate it very much. So with that, I know you said this worked.
It was working.
Can I trade you? Yeah. Okay, this is a beautiful statement, of course, Mahbub put together. I would just say, we have less money and we're gonna make some tough decisions and we're gonna do our best, but he makes everything sound so much nicer. So he really is just a dear, and it is lovely to have his energy around. But we really are trying to do the most with what we have. I really can't see, so I'm gonna step around here. So just so you know, we did get more state appropriations. We asked for several items. One item that we did get, the only item we did get, was the salary to cover Isabel Rodriguez, who coordinates all our parent partnership board activities, which we're very thankful for. But we didn't get all of our asks. But in addition, some of our revenue sources are shrinking. So while we got more in appropriations, we're losing more in other sources. So that's why we're gonna have some tough choices this coming year. And I believe all of us are kind of planning for tougher even the year out, right? So this is like a practice year, I figure, and that's the way we're kind of doing it. So in essence, we got just shy of 2% less than we did in the year before. Where you see the differences here, well, I'm just gonna actually touch the screen if that's okay. So right up here, these are the revenue sources, and this is really what I want to highlight. So in our 4E funds, every year for the past 2 or 3 years, we've seen a reduction. We're not doing less work, but the formula has changed from the feds. So the penetration rate that we use has changed, which means we're bringing home less money. So that we are estimating for next year another cut for ourselves. We don't know exactly what that will be because it's reimbursement, but we are foreseeing that if we go like we have, we are going to get less. So we're going to be conservative and we're going to look at lower amount again. In addition, for the preschool development grant that we get from our fabulous partners upstairs, the Oklahoma Partnership for School Readiness, I mean, this is what we knew was going to occur. So this isn't like a surprise, but we're going to receive less money next year. But we're also going to get to carry forward some money. So it's all going to be fine, but just know that. And then also our partners at the State Department of Health, who've been so generous with us and supporting both personnel and activities, they have told us they're going to be providing less too. That didn't come as a shock. We knew that was coming as well, but you know, it still hurts, right? So we lost some money from them. And then a little bit down here, we're getting money from Annie Casey to do some work, and we're really happy about that, but we're getting a little less there. So it all adds up, but I just wanted you to kind of see where those monies are short. And if you look at it, and this kind of goes back to your question, Director Tardy-Bono, the CAMTA funds. So, you know, here's CAMTA. It looks like we have a lot. It doesn't stay here. We get 5% of that as an administrative cost. So all this goes out the door. So while it looks like a lot of money for us, it really doesn't help us in this particular office. But we're glad to administer it. And then federal 4E is this little slice here. Our state appropriations, 53%. If you recall, you weren't here. I don't think any of you were here when I started, right? Probably not. So when I started, this was like, I don't know, something crazy, 90%, I don't know, more than that. So we've diversified our portfolio, if you will, which is really great, right? But at the same time, you know, when everyone, you just gotta have to keep everything steady, right? So this looks good to me in some ways. And at the same time, what I believe I'm seeing, and Mark and I are kind of fearing, is we're creeping up to where we were in 2015, 16, 17, where all of our state appropriations covered salaries and then we had nothing left. We're getting there, so we're gonna show you that. So I'm gonna back up because I can't see the glare. We get 3.1 in state appropriations. Our payroll is 2.9. So once you think about that, that gives us shy of 200,000 to do anything else. That's lights, utilities, anything. Now, the legislature thinks out of that money that, well, they don't think, they have told us to spend $100,000 on the chief child abuse examiner, 60,000 on juvenile competency evaluations, and 50 on the OCCY database maintenance. And that really leaves nothing left for our office, just leaves us nothing left, right? So we know we've got 4E shrinking. Here's what we've done in the budget that we're going to present to you. We have a contract with Big Brothers Big Sisters. It's $80,000. We love this program. We want to support it. It's for the mentoring with those who have a parent who's incarcerated. Right now, their contract in our budget is $16,000 short. We feel 100% certain we will move monies to make sure that they get their 80,000. But in our budget right now, that's going to be, this is how it looks. In addition, we really think that Richard Yohola is going to need $100,000 for juvenile competency. Those orders have gone up every year. We asked for money, but we didn't get money for those. And I don't know what we do with that when we run out of money. So right now we have it budget. We would like to have it budgeted 100. We've got 11,200 short of that. If we get orders that come in and we can't cover those costs, I assume they'll go on a wait list or they'll ask the families to pay, but I don't think the families can pay. So I don't know what we'll do there. And then last but not least, the Office of Planning and Coordination would like and had asked for 70,000 to continue on their work with children and youth homeless activities and the projects and efforts they're supporting. And right now in the budget, they're short 35,000. So here's what we're going to do to make sure we can cover costs. Nobody's getting salary increases, including me. The child abuse, we're going to talk, let me just say, because we have not talked to Senator Racino in particular, or Representative Lawson, but we plan on reducing the chief child abuse examiner contract by 50%, mostly because Dr. Sockett has not billed more than that. And so we feel like at the moment, that's a comfortable amount. It will not change her work, but at the same time, we would love to see more, let me say that. But right now, that seems like something we should do in a prudent way, to be prudent. We're going to strict travel. So since I've been here, when we had money, I said, everyone needs to go out of state. Everyone needs to broaden your horizons, see something different, hear something different, right? But we're not going to do that probably unless it's necessary for a grant or activities. Right now, we're not going to get any additional office space. We had planned on obtaining the offices down the hall. That's not going to happen. And then the PARB conference, which I think if anyone is a PARB member, appreciates and really enjoys, it is tentatively planned, but if we run out of money, we'll either reduce it or cancel it. And then we won't have any new consultants or initiatives or activities. We're just going to really knuckle down on what we've got. So we are happy to do new work if we get resources with it. Now, I don't want to shut the door on anything, but I'm just saying we can't contribute in the way that we have in the past where we'll say, oh, we'll cover that. We'd love to help. We're not going to be able to do that this year. So just so you know. So, let's see. Okay. This is just kind of same information, but different way of showing it. We're really talking about, I do want to stress, we have that new slide in here, right? I didn't even look at this version. Okay, I want to show you one thing, and I know all of you in state agencies are seeing this as well. Okay, where's the new? Is it there? Up.
One more.
Did I go by it?
Yeah, we are talking about the.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking it was its own slide. Sorry. Okay, we want to talk about, where is it, my boo?
Increase in.
This?
We are talking about the increase in.
For OMES. Okay, I'm just gonna say this because I don't know where it is exactly on this.
Next slide.
Next slide. Okay, OMES, our costs for OMES have gone up. And if you're, is this it?
Yes.
Okay,
It's at
and
the
yours probably
bottom.
have two.
It's at the bottom.
It's at the bottom? Oh, thank you. Yes, okay. So our costs for OMES have gone up. And I know it doesn't seem like much, but for us it is. And let me tell you, the thing that really changed was risk management. Our understanding is in the past, when you have to explain how much they're gonna cover for your risk management, the liability, we were reporting our staff numbers. But they asked us for all the boards that we coordinate, and we coordinate a lot of boards in statute. And they've added those numbers in as a liability. So now that increased our costs, and I get it, but it hasn't occurred in the past. So now I'm like, didn't know that was coming. So that added too. And then of course, everything else went up. We love Mr. Mowdy. Your cost went up a little bit, no offense, but you're worth it. But IT, you just name it, right? It all goes up. So like everyone else, we didn't get any money to cover those increased costs. We also lost one of our 2 state cars. And we're gonna argue about this because we only had 2 state cars. One of them did not cross the threshold of 12,000 miles, close, but no cigar. So we lost it. And now we're really thinking we're gonna incur more costs because we're gonna have to use a rental car service and or reimburse people in their personal cars. It just seems more fiscally prudent to get our car back. So we're gonna make some arguments about that. The other thing that we may do to save some costs, we have 1 vacancy right now. We may slow roll filling some positions just to set back a little cash here and there. That might help us a little bit cover some of those gaps in contracts or gaps in activities we want to do. So key takeaways are, some of our funding is shrinking, some of our costs have gone up. We've tried to create a very conservative budget so that we can rock and roll without too many shocks or surprises. And we really want to do the best we can with the money we have. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Yes.
You mentioned the vacant positions and leaving them vacant. Is
Not
that,
forever, just maybe slow rolling, filling in.
okay, what kind of impact is that gonna have on current personnel and workloads?
Well, right now, the 1 position is new and won't change much. But should someone leave that is experienced or critical, I mean, we may say we just have to fill that person immediately, right? We'll use some reasonableness there. But if it's something that we can hold off a little bit, it might be good for us to do that. Good question. Yes.
I think there was legislation that expanded your authority to investigate. So
Yes.
how does the budget impact?
Great question. So we also, along with that, Bill had asked for additional staff in that area, which we did not get. So now we're at a kind of a interesting juncture where we have the ability to do more without the resources to do more. So we'll do our best. That's all I can promise. That's all I can do. So great question. And thank you for highlighting it. I should have highlighted that myself. Anything else?
Questions?
With that, I do believe we need a vote before July 1. So if you feel comfortable with that, I'll just sit back down.
Thank you. Any Anybody like to make a motion to approve the new fiscal year budget?
I move to accept the state fiscal year 2026 OCCY budget as presented.
Second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please call roll.
Commissioner Aaron,
Yes.
CEO Bittner,
Yes.
Director Cartwell,
Yes.
Director Front,
Yes.
District Attorney Hicks.
Yes.
Commissioner Kerr,
Yes.
Commissioner Larison,
Yes.
Commissioner Michaels Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider,
Yes.
Commissioner Tardy Bono,
Yes.
Judge Warren.
Yes.
Thank you. Director Jacobi, thank you for detailing that for us and all the information. We really appreciate the work that's gone behind that and also your staff. Thank you all. Okay, next is agenda item number 8, discussion and possible vote concerning provisional candidates who have met the established criteria to be credentialed evaluators for juvenile competency in accordance with OAC. I'll turn it over to Richard Yohola.
Good morning. This process of presenting the provisional candidates to be approved as credential evaluators started at the last commission board meeting on April 11th. And at that time, 2 candidates that were put into provisionals that were agreed to a provisional status was Dr. Yemi Adeyiga and also Dr. Jennifer Lancaster. And in the last 60 days, approximately, or last 2 months, they have both completed their provisional one competency evaluation with the youth that was referred to them. And then as following the process, based on the statute and also the administrative rules, their names were presented with reports to the Juvenile Competency Evaluation Professional Committee. The committee met last week and in turn approved both candidates' recommendation to the commission. And so today, what I'll be doing is presenting these 2 candidates for full-time to be credentialed as evaluators to help us with testing. And I'll qualify this at this time since January, we've only had 1 psychologist helping us with testing state. And so we're real excited about having these 2 brought up for consideration. And so I'll present it back to you, Chairman.
Okay. So are we, right now, help me a little bit, are we needing a vote for?
We're actually on this item, we got it back.
Okay, got them backwards. So we're on agenda item number 9. For clarification, okay. So we need a vote to fully credential those 2 candidates, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, are there any questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2 candidates listed on the screen.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please call roll.
Commissioner Aaron,
Yes.
CEO Bittner,
Yes.
Director Cartwell,
Yes.
Director Front,
Yes.
District Attorney Hicks,
Yes.
Commissioner Kerr,
Yes.
Commissioner Larison,
Yes.
Commissioner Michaels Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider,
Yes.
Commissioner Tardy Bono,
Yes.
Judge Warren.
Yes.
Thank you. So now we're moving back to agenda item 8. I believe this is concerning provisional candidates. Do we have any provisional candidates? We're both looking at each other like, what are we doing here?
Okay. A little narrative on this. On May 30th at the University of Tulsa College of Law, we held training for candidates to be approved to be professional evaluators. And we completed a training there at the College of Law with Dr. Fortune and also with Dr. Parks. We had 2 candidates that completed the training. And here are their names, Dr. Sonia Cornwell out of Tahlequah, and also Paulette Pitt, who is a college professor and also a psychologist as well at East Central University that lives in the Newalla area. And they both completed this training, and also after they completed the training, following the administrative rules requirements to be considered provisional evaluator, they completed a post training assessment, which they both passed successfully. And when we met with the Juvenile Competency Evaluation Professional Committee last week, we got to review the reports they did, not the reports, their application, and they were approved by that committee, which in turn, with that approval, we are presenting to the commission as well for their approval, so they can be provisional candidates. When in between now and in the next commission meeting in August, we will be, if they're approved, then we will be giving them a provisional assignment to do a competency evaluation, and then we'll meet again. See if we'll wait to see if they get that completed, and I'll provide you a report at that time, at the next commission meeting.
Okay. Are there any questions? Okay, the resumes are in the packet if anyone would like to access those. I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2 candidates listed on the screen.
So moved.
Motion. Who was the second? Second, okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? Please call roll.
Commissioner Aaron,
Yes.
CEO Bittner,
Yes.
Director Cartmell,
Yes.
Director Front,
Yes.
District Attorney Hicks,
Yes.
Commissioner Kurth,
Yes.
Commissioner Larison,
Yes.
Commissioner Michaels Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider,
Yes.
Commissioner Tardibono,
Yes.
Judge Warren,
Yes.
pass.
Perfect, thank you so much. Next on the agenda is agenda item 10, discussion and possible vote to elect the following commission officers, chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary. I'm always willing to self-admit when I mess things up. So about 3 weeks ago, I talked to Director Jacobi, and she said, we need to appoint a person to help us with this. And I said, well, Director Front has helped us with that in the past. I'll give her a call, and I failed to do that until yesterday morning. So I apologize. Okay, well, maybe I realized
It
late
was
in the morning.
afternoon, no, yeah.
But I apologize for that, and I will tell you, when I called her, she said I can get to work really fast, and she did, and I appreciate that. And so I'm gonna turn it over to her for this process.
It was about 3, just, No, it's all good, John. I'm really
I'm
teasing.
always willing to say I messed it
Yeah,
up.
no, it is all good. Hey, I think I can understand that. My life is running me most days. So what I would like to do is push forward. Do we do them separately?
Do them separately.
Do them separate, thank you. So we start with chairperson, work our way down. So I would like to nominate John Schneider to continue to be the chairman. And we need a second to that, right?
Second.
Second.
All right.
We have a first and a second, so any discussion, I just want to say I want to make sure that whoever's in this role everybody's on the same page. And so I've been in this seat for a while. I'm willing to serve, but I also would not be hurt one bit if somebody said, I'd like to nominate another person from the floor. I'm always willing to step aside and let somebody else lead. So I want to make sure the commission is aware of that, but also happy to serve if that's what the commission would want.
Pretty sure nobody wants it, John, I think.
You sure? And hearing any of our
50
discussion?
seconds in the room, so.
Okay, any further discussion? Please call roll.
Commissioner Aaron,
Yes.
CEO Bittner,
Yes.
Director Cartwheel,
Yes.
Director Front,
Yes.
District Attorney Hicks.
Yes.
Commissioner Kurth,
Yes.
Commissioner Larison,
Yes.
Commissioner Michaels Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider,
Yes.
Commissioner Tardy Bono,
Yes.
and Judge Warren.
Yes.
Perfect, motion
Yes.
passes. Thank you all.
So for vice chairman, I would like to continue to nominate Kaylee Kurth to continue in her role. And I will just say in all these positions, all of them have done an outstanding job. It takes a lot of work to just keep up with what happens at OCCY. And a lot of work working with Annette, I think. No, I'm teasing. But anyway, so I'll push her forward, entertain a second.
Second.
Motion and second, any further discussion?
Obviously, you have a chance to accept the nomination as well.
Yes, so she was able to call me yesterday, so I am happy to continue serving, but again, if someone else wants to step in, I will.
She called you yesterday morning as well.
Yeah.
There's a motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, please call roll.
Commissioner Aaron,
Yes.
CEO Bittner,
Yes.
Director Cartwheel,
Yes.
Director Front,
Yes.
District Attorney Hicks,
Yes.
Commissioner Kurth,
Yes.
Commissioner Larison,
Yes.
Commissioner Michaels Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider,
Yes.
Commissioner Tardy Bono,
Yes.
Judge Warren,
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and the last one, I don't know if we can do it today. He's not in the room, but I would like to recommend for Secretary Jonathan Hall, who has been serving in that capacity. So can we do that without the person being?
It's obviously better if they could accept the nomination.
Sure.
Have you spoken with them?
No. But I mean,
Hold on.
yeah. Can we just push it to next time?
Unless you want to vote to approve it pending his acceptance, but.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Timothy.
That's part of the challenge of not being here, right? You get-
Right. He's in
up.
Hawaii, I mean, you
Oh,
know.
well.
Probably wasn't 3 weeks ago when I talked to Annette.
I mean, if he's already serving, then I would say motion pending his acceptance
Correct.
once he returns.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, please call roll.
Commissioner Aaron,
Yes.
CEO Bittner,
Yes.
Director Cartwheel,
Yes.
Director Front,
Yes.
District Attorney Hicks,
Yes.
Commissioner Kurth,
Yes.
Commissioner Larison,
Yes.
Commissioner Michaels Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider,
Yes.
Commissioner Tardy Bono,
Yes.
Judge Warren,
Yes.
Motion passes, thank you. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, Director Front, for the short notice on that and helping us with that. And thank you, Kaylee, for being willing to serve again in this capacity. I really appreciate it. Okay, agenda item number 11 is presentation regarding the OCCY legislative report. And I'll turn it over to Marcia Johnson.
Well, good morning. This past session, it seems like every year I say this was the wildest session or something, some adjective like that. But this really was a very unusual session, and in my mind, it had to have set some records. Wait a minute, what? Here it is. I'm sorry, I don't even know how to work it. This session had to have set some records, because more bills became law without the governor taking action on them than I've ever seen. And the number of vetoes that were overridden was incredible in my mind. By way of comparison, the bills that became law without the governor's signature in the first and second regular sessions of the last legislature, the 59th legislature, was 19. In this first regular session of the current legislature, 299 bills became law without the governor taking action. And in terms of the veto overrides, during the first and second sessions of the last legislature, 25 vetoes were overridden, and in this past session, 47. And I would say that even 10 overrides is kind of a high number. I didn't get a chance to average out the vetoes from the past 15 or 20 years, but you know, if they override 10 vetoes, they're doing pretty good. So this was really pretty incredible. And what I wanted to report to you on is an update on our legislative agenda. And we have 5 items that the commission approved earlier in the year. The first first two bills became law without the governor's signature. House Bill 1574 restores the ability, Commissioner, you were asking about this, restores the ability of the Office of Juvenile System Oversight to conduct routine inspections of privately operated facilities that receive state or federal funding. The second bill, 1863, clarifies the duties of the freestanding multidisciplinary teams to clarify their duties and to require the use of a secure database for entering case review information. Third item on our agenda, Senate Bill 799, would have allowed an alternate adult to be included in electronic communications between a school employee and a student who was believed to be homeless and unaccompanied, so out on their own. And basically, the governor said that the process that was added to the bill as an amendment to verify the student's status wasn't strong enough, so he vetoed that bill. We have one carryover bill, House Bill 2892, clarifies the authority of the executive director to request an investigation of certain cases by the OSBI or other law enforcement agency. This bill made it all the way through the process. It's on Senate General Order, which means next year we'll just work to get it heard on the Senate floor. Once it passes out of there, then it'll go to the governor. Director Jacobi already talked about the appropriation. The last item on our agenda, and it relates to the House Bill 1863, you'll recall that the commission voted earlier in the year to adopt rules that kind of mirrored what we had in the bill, which is to clarify the duties and responsibilities of the teams and to require the use of the database. So HJR 1035 was legislative approval of that, and the governor signed it, so we're good to go with that. I want to bring up one item that wasn't on the agenda, but it is going to impact the agency's operations. And in the final bill tracking sheet that I sent out a couple of weeks ago, Senate Bill 870, I had it highlighted in red because it had been vetoed, but then, surprise, on the last day of session, the legislature overrode veto, and so I didn't catch it in time, so my apologies. But Senate Bill 870 will require persons working in or around a facility that is under the supervision of OJA or a county facility that detains juveniles who suspect sexual misconduct or exploitation of a youth. They have to report that incident to the Office of Juvenile Systems Oversight. OJSO is then required to conduct an independent investigation of the allegations and forward those results to the district attorney's office in the district where the alleged abuse took place. In addition, OJSO has to notify the alleged victim's family that a report has been submitted to the district attorney, And they must notify the state representative and the state senator who represent the district where the youth normally resides. So that will have some impact, but we'll work with Representative Lawson to see if we can't get some of these things resolved, especially with the other fiscal challenges that the director mentioned. And finally, we are in the interim, so the deadline for requesting interim studies is June 27th in both the House and the Senate. The Senate approved studies will be available by July 3rd, and the House list will be available by July 27th. So as usual during this period, once interim meetings start occurring, probably late August, I'll just be watching those and attending any regular meetings that are relevant to our work. So, and that concludes my report.
Awesome, thank you. Do we have any questions for Marcia Johnson?
On the new legislation, on some of the new legislation, how many of those bills require the agency to promulgate rules that'll then require our approval? Do you know?
You mean in general, not just bills that relate to OCCY?
Well, so the OCCY bills, I think maybe one of ours had to do with the MDTs and the data system required some new rulemaking. Is that correct?
Yes, so the MDT bill, we did both at the same time. But typically, and I was talking to Director Jacobi about this, typically, years ago when we wrote statute, if we were creating a new program or a new task or something, we always said the agency shall promulgate rules to implement the provisions of the section or something. And they've gotten away from doing that. So my couple of experiences here, when we didn't specifically authorize the agency to promulgate rules, I was told by the agency that it wasn't a problem, and it hasn't been.
Okay, I just know, thinking back to the last time we had rules in the fall, there
We'll
were a
do
lot of
better.
questions.
Yeah,
from
we will
Commissioner
start
Bittner
looking
and I
at
think
that
myself
now.
and maybe Commissioner Reed. So however we can be helpful on
Thank
that
you.
process, let us know.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you so much for your work this year and your continued work during the interim period. Appreciate it. Okay, next on the agenda is agenda item number 11, presentation of the director's report. I will turn it over to Director Jacobi.
I'm sorry, I didn't get it sent to you earlier. It's being handed out now. It's a pretty brief summary of mostly of the numbers related to Child Death Review Board and to the Office of Juvenile Systems Oversight. I do want to point out, is Richard still in the room? Is he around? I just want to say, Mr. Yahola has done yeoman's work on beefing up the number of evaluators. We've been in dire straits, and I know the courts are frustrated because they want to keep things moving. And I just can't thank Richard enough for making that happen. So we've gone from 1 to 3 and hopefully 5 here very soon in a short amount of time. And I think it'll make a very, very big impact on the court system and on these children's lives. So I'm happy about that. There's one thing that I didn't talk about in the budget, and I should have, and I did not write in my report. We're struggling to figure out if we had wanted to do a retreat with or for you all. We've had the day held for you in August. I'm not sure we have funds to go off somewhere to do something. We'll start talking about that. We want to. I don't know. I don't know what we can do. So we're gonna put our heads together very quickly and either get that created so that it's useful. We had talked about really working around some of these efforts that are coalescing around kids with complex needs and some of the challenges that we've been talking about around the table and in different work groups. We'll cancel it if we don't feel like it's feasible. So we'll keep you posted and have a decision very, very soon there. And then last but not least, and this is just silly, but 3 of our staff found this kitten And Rob wrote this adorable bio for him, and I walked into the room yesterday to do our walkthrough for this meeting, and his picture was on the wall. And anyway, I said, I think we should probably take that down. That might seem disrespectful, but my family members named him Biscuit because we have another cat named Cookie, and if any of you watch British shows, you know, yes, you get it. If you know, you know. So he is Commissioner Biscuit. So the office wanted him to be named Commissioner. So I hope you get a giggle out of that. We've had a lot of fun, but that is a new Jacobi member in our family.
Can I speak real quick?
Sure.
I told Director Jacobi, I said, can I nominate Commissioner Biscuit as president? He won't accept, so he didn't come today.
Language barrier.
Commissioner Biscuit should be invited to our next.
I was gonna say.
He's not very therapeutic at the moment. He's really cute from afar, but he really has a lot of little claws and little teeth. But he is really cute. I've learned a lot with him. He's a good little guy. So with that, and sorry for that little diversion, but he has brought us a lot of fun. That's really, we've been dedicated to working on budget and a few kind of hot button issues here as of late. And so if I have called you to ask you to talk to us about an issue, several of you around the table, we have grabbed you in urgency and said, this is something we really need your help with. I appreciate it so much. We do the best we have with the resources we have here, and we just realize a lot of the time we got to share the work because we just don't have the capacity to do things the way I want to do, that way I think they should be done. We just don't have enough personnel, so sometimes we're just going to have to share the load. And I appreciate it. And that doesn't mean that I don't want anyone in the public or out in the ether sphere, you know, wherever to get the idea that we're colluding or we're not being objective. We certainly are. And we're trying our best to share information and still do our job and be independent and really think through things at a systems level. But sometimes these individual issues pop up and we just want to bring it to your individual attention so you can jump on it and perhaps act earlier than if you waited for our report that's going to come out much later. So with that, I just want to say how much I appreciate you being available and responding to texts and calls. And I really, really, really appreciate it. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
I do have something that's not so much of a question, but a little bit of a typo.
Oh, please.
On your tour of Kojak, and I think I caught this in a minute. You put home sessions and it should be hope sessions.
You know what? And I think that wasn't supposed to be in there because that was in the last one.
Right.
So you can see, I take it and then I usually, and anyway.
It was, I think it was in the minutes
that.
and I think I wrote it to say something and I didn't. So,
okay, I will fix it.
But since we're talking about it, I'll just say, one of the best experiences that I've had as director has been making the time each month to sit with our young men. So we have what the Science of Hope, Chan Hellman, you guys are probably a lot of you familiar with them. We have that curriculum and that programming in our facility, trying to teach the young men the process of hope and the science of hope. So I've made it a point to go every month to sit in with them in their classes in 2 of our 5 units. And it's been probably the most rewarding thing I've had because not only have I developed relationships, but it's really amazing to watch young men as the light bulb starts turning on. Oh, I could do my life different. And so that's been really exciting. So I know that's not part of your report, but since I'm fixing this little bit of an error, I'm taking it in.
Wasn't supposed to, but it is apparently, so.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much for
You
your
bet,
report.
you bet.
Okay, agenda item number 8, chairperson remarks. Usually I don't have much to say here, but today I just want to speak to Director Jacobi's work a little bit. So last time we met, we talked about her performance appraisal and the personnel committee had met and done her review. And as a part of that, just wanted to take a minute to thank you for all you're doing. You do a lot with a little and continue to do a lot with a little, and your budget presentation was a very good representation of that, speaking to bills that are passed that require resources that we don't have, and trying to figure out what that looks like. And I think that takes a lot of courage, continued courage, and I think that takes great leadership to get a team behind that type of culture moving forward to serve people. So we just want to thank you.
Good with this stuff. Thank you, though. I love, well, that's so
We
nice.
appreciate you very
Well,
much.
thank you.
And
Oh, my
Director
gosh.
Front, I want to make sure we give her some credit, Mr. Price.
It's not very big, but
You're
it's in
so
honor of Thunder too, because I thought it was pretty thunder.
Especially after last
Yeah, I
night.
know.
Go Thunder. Oh, well, that's so sweet. Thank you. You didn't have to do that.
Thank you for your work.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate it very much.
Appreciate it.
Okay, agenda item number 14, announcements. Are there any announcements from the commissioners?
Rob helped me with that as well. I would just like to.
It has a
acknowledge
Rob
and thank
touch.
him
It
for
has a
that.
Rob
Yes,
touch.
it does. Sorry.
Okay, any other announcements? Hearing none, okay, I will call us adjourned at 14.